1. Private participation in defense production to wait. GS Paper 2. Government policies and schemes. Why recently in news? The new Defense Procurement Procedure, DPP, will be unveiled at the DefExpo India 2016, a biennial show of military and security systems. This DPP will introduce measures to promote indigenization and self-reliance in defense. But the much-awaited induction of the private sector in a major way into defense manufacturing will be missing. For government, there is still no clarity on how to select private companies to become strategic partners in defense procurement programs. What are the aims and objectives of the new DPP to be launched? The proposal for new DPP aims at enabling provisions for utilization and consolidation of design, development and manufacturing infrastructure available in the country. The objective of the new DPP is to ensure expeditious procurement of the approved requirements of the armed forces, in terms of capabilities or time frame prescribed by optimally utilizing the allocated budgetary resources. Will the new DPP be a game changer? The Defense Ministry had approved key policy changes to accord priority to locally made equipments. The DAC had approved changes to DPP to introduce a new category called Indigenously Designed, Developed and Manufactured (IDDM) equipment. Under the new category, it will be mandatory for 40% of the content to be sourced locally. It has also revised the so-called Defense Offset Clause, which will now be applied to contracts of more than Rs 2,000 crore instead of the current Rs 300 crore, thereby removing a hurdle to foreign companies eyeing the Indian market. Technology transformation will be the major part of it, and government can allow higher limits for the foreign direct investment (FDI), and that the new policy would modernize the defense forces. Thus the new DPP will create a conducive policy environment, cut red tape and provide attractive incentives to promote local defense, and sure it will be a game changer. Why there will be no private strategic partnership in DPP? Identifying strategic private sector partners was going through an extensive exercise that will take another month or two, and it requires approval from the Cabinet Committee on Security. For government, there was still no clarity on how to select private companies to become strategic partners in defense procurement programs. The present effort to grant the status of strategic partners flows from the recommendations of the Dhirendra Singh Committee, formed by the central government in May 2015. What is the significance of missing strategic partnership (SPs)? The SP concept would have rejuvenated the domestic industry, since the foreign original equipment manufacturers (OEMs) can tie with Indian partners for providing technology rather than undertake protracted negotiations with the Ministry of Defense. SP would have developed the domestic capability and make technology absorption a commercial matter between Indian and foreign manufacturers. The way forward. We need to provide more commercially viable alternatives to original equipment manufacturers to fulfill offset obligations. The government is getting out of the industry's way to control offsets, but more needs to be done. 2. Government clears construction of 1 crore homes for rural poor over next 3 years. GS Paper 2. Government policies and schemes. Why recently in news? The government approved a plan on Wednesday to construct 1 crore houses for the rural poor in the next 3 years. Before that, Rs 3 trillion scheme to build 20 million houses for the urban poor was announced. Both schemes are part of the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana (PMAY), or Housing for All program that the government aims to complete by 2022. How the scheme will be implemented. It is proposed that 1 crore households would be provided assistance for construction of Pakka, permanent, house under the project during the period from 2016-17 to 2018-19. The scheme would be implemented in rural areas throughout India. The cost of unit, house, assistance is to be shared between central and state governments in the ratio 60:40 in plain areas and 90:10 for northeastern and hilly states. Beneficiaries of the rural houses would be chosen according to data taken from the socio-economic caste census of 2011. Funds will be transferred electronically directly to the account of the beneficiary. This will be ensured through a server linkage between Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana (PMAY) and MGNREGS. Salient features of Housing for All scheme. This mission aims to create 30 million houses by 2022 for economically weaker sections. The mission was launched on PM Modi's direction of Har Parivar Ko Ghar, a house for every family. The mission crafted through public-private partnership model with interest subsidy and increased flow of resources towards housing sector. It aims at social inclusion also to create slum-free cities across the country by focusing on in-situ development of slums through vertical construction. Investment of about ₹50 lakh crore is expected for various initiatives while building houses for all. Banks will have provision of tax incentives on interest rate for the loans taken by the poor section.